So I think we want to go up the stairs. Okay, so we're gonna go talk to Craig then. Hey, do you want to take over while I eat? I'm starving. I hope this is good. So that's it. Is it? Oh, yeah. I'll
That's
let
the
you.
machine that blew up. Well, it must have been a magnificent explosion, and I've seen my fair share. I've made my fair share.
Oh, this is good.
Put my pencil back. Trying to make designs here. You've seen things like this before, you mean? Of course. Early I was doing experiments. That end in a bang.
I love the fact that Iris is basically, like, better Herlock.
In
Like, they
fact,
both do the same hobbies and stuff, but Iris is the one that actually invents shit. She's the one that actually is good at observation, and she writes the fucking stories.
In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry. Ah! That might explain the smell of the burning frequency come wafting up the stairs. One time, he made something that exploded with such force it took the roof off the building.
Holy shit.
I wish you'd been there to see it, Bruno.
What?
Try not to get too excited about that, given that I now live on the roof. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate. Ah, look, Inspector Gregson over there. Seems to be deep in thought about something. Whilst eyeing up the machine carefully. Really? He just looked confused to me.
I'm all on board for this case, I'm gonna be honest. Oh, look, you can look up. That's neat. You gotta press that on the D-pad.
Huh?
The button. There you go. You got it.
Stuff apart magnificently, didn't it? Magnificently. And mercilessly. So someone standing in the middle of the machine who just... and then beamed through the air? Yes, beamed, not blasted. That's the point. Yeah, that's partially crucial, really. Something like that even possible, though, Iris? Oh, but no. I'm just a child. How should I know? A child when it suits you, you mean?
So, in other words, you don't fucking know.
The way you flew over here, Gregsy. Please, your ladyship. I don't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here. I'm so sorry. You can have some of my latest special blend to make up for it. Go. Ah, wonderful.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think Gregson's boring or anything, but like his bit kind of
He had.
it's kind of one note. It works best for like a single game, and you don't even meet him till case 3 for the first game, so I get having him here. But I kind of just hope we just stick, you know.
Just like old times, that is. No more flashbacks, please.
Yeah, any Ace Attorney game that resorts to using flashback cases is automatically a bad game. This game, so far, is the only exception.
We're representing Professor Harebrain in court.
Actually, I think that's the opposite rule. Any game that uses flashbacks is pretty much always a good game, except for Ace Attorney Investigations 1. That is a fucking awful game.
So he should be allowed to examine the scene. Yeah, listen, Sunshine, even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. It's a blasted special dispensary for scientific equipment at to blame. It's driving me potty. that specific dispensary. The bunch mentioned that too. More red tape. Red tape all we need. I don't know what the government thinks it's playing at sometimes. But we're allowed to just look, aren't we? Eh. Surely that's alright, isn't it, Gregsy?
I'll give you more tea.
Of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship. But please, don't get your dainty hands dirty, will you? Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of touching anything, would we, Reno? She really knows how to get she wants. Using high voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body, and then beam him across the crystal tower. Wait, what time do I work tomorrow? I don't think about
I
it.
think it's 7.
Oh,
You want to finish this scene.
Cross tilt. It's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public.
I'm gonna finish this
True.
later.
With by far the most unusual of experiments planned for the exhibit in mind. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying out something so dangerous with so many specters present, I mean.
I'm assuming that in real life, to have something like this done, they don't do the initial experiment here, because you gotta make sure it works before you're ready for public presentation. Oh well. The government's doing everything it can to promote the new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than the old spotting public safety infringements.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the only thing that matters. Being ahead of the other countries, you know. Scientific advancement literally only occurs before and following war. If they can be the first to develop some new technology, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see. Yeah, I suppose that's true in a way. Checks watch. Oh, I guess it's only 14 more years till World War I. That makes sense. So the powers that be are placing a heavy emphasis on scientists' rights at the moment. Scientists' rights? They're making it so that any theories the brains have remain their legal property, as it were. Right through developing it into a practical... Wait, is this just copyright? I could have sworn that was way older than that. Which is the infuriating reason us coppers aren't allowed to touch this crime scene. Because the new hive... I see now. Only people with permission to investigate here are some brand new department in the yard. The forensic investigation team is called. We've been relegated to keeping guard. I should have had my fucking burrito when Gregson was talking. I would have made it all the more. Don't add voice act while eating. It's actually a really bad idea. Any old fool can see that his heap of scrap metal was a sham to begin with. But just because it says scientific equipment on the paperwork, bah! We can't do a flaming thing with it.
Poor Gregsy. He's very head up, isn't he?
Yep, I'm the most hetero person here. Head up, indeed.
I'm the only hetero person.
I'm the only hetero in this game. Apparently, Professor Hairbrain lives and works in Germany now, conducting his research. That's right. Come back to Britain, especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand. Probably research grants. Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today, about his time in further education. Turns out he was at university with someone we both know, Lord Van Zeeks. Well, what's that? It's news to me. But if Van Zeeks mans the prosecution, then as the accused, the professor's fate is sealed, because the Reaper will get him one way or another. Oh, blimey. That mind's beyond me. None of what goes on in that head of his. Talking of Van Zeeks, this morning's paper ran the story of him being attacked. Read that?
Oh yes, but Mr. Reaper's completely fine. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, we're on. I'm glad to hear it. Still, the Reaper, huh? How long that business gonna keep up, I wonder.
The victim of this case. Where did you get those fish chips from? Why didn't you just take them from your pocket? Anyway, the victim of this case, the investor, Mr. Assman, he was another of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard. You just fucking eat them! At least eat them, you fucking bastard!
Lord Varric Van Zeeks is a...
I keep wanting to say Vaughn because it's Von Karma.
Van Zeeks is a top-class prosecutor. But even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win.
Yes, I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it? Where'd you get... whatever.
Obviously, Scotland Yard has suspected Van Zeeks initially. We all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to seal the deal in court.
Ah, planting a kiss. Of course, that's what you mean by seal the deal.
Well, we've done a very thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached...
You fucking asshole! Just eat the fucking chips! That's the third set! You're fucking reminding me of Van Zeeks with the way you're wasteful of your goblets. Although your goblets are paper bags?
He's wasteful with
Tubes?
food.
I don't know. Whatever.
They're both wasteful
They're
with
both wasteful.
food.
That Lord Van Zeeks is in no way related to the deaths of those people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would.
But you did. I mean, not technically, but you've already lost your reputation. God, I've got a terrible case of hiccups right now. I just have to remind myself I'm not a fish.
You're not a fish.
Okay, there we go. If that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't have just coincidentally died if nobody killed them.
That's false. That's not true.
I know that, but I can't
That's
explain
circumstantial. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper.
Professor Hairbrain mentioned something... Okay, well, now you have 2 sets of chips in your fucking coat pocket. He said that at university...
That's what he's doing. He's just switching from 2.
Yeah, he's just got fucking... I don't know.
His coat is lined up with chips.
He's a totally different person. Easygoing and kind.
You what?
He said that it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. The man. Do you have any idea what it was?
No clue.
Really?
Look, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go and scurry off, make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere?
So he definitely knows.
Yeah.
Gregson always knows more than he lets on.
Mm-hmm.
Grexy!
It's too bad we never use our fucking secret weapon, Iris, to get the actual information we want.
I think Iris even knows that she can't push that.
Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch the scene here? And how do I get out of it?
Are you having out the sunshine? It's the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
Yes, I think Hurley mentioned that recently, with a real twinkle in his eyes, I remember.
I'm sure he did, your ladyship. I'm sure he did. Passed especially for this great exhibition it was. All scientists have to do is present their ideas or inventions to some suits in the civil service, and it gets rubber stamped. That's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality.
See, the problem with this is that generally speaking, I was okay with copyright until I realized that it was just a perpetuation of capitalism. If we didn't live in a capitalist society, then copyright would be not great, and it's not great now. But like, I think that the problem is that if you have something that's not copyrighted, then there's no reason for you not to, recreate it yourself. Like, it's getting to be such a problem that fucking, I think Pepsi was suing South American farmers because they were growing, no, it was Lay's. It was, Lay's.
Yeah, Lay's.
Lay's was suing South American farmers because they were growing potatoes too similar to the ones used in their chips. And basically, because of the backwards way that copyright law works, they won.
Mm-hmm.
So these farmers on their own land, millions of miles away from Lay's confident, like business, can't grow potatoes on their own farms, and it's really stupid.
Yep.
So, like, I kind of get the point of copyright and its use for making sure that you get credit for shit, but, like, no.
You shouldn't be able to copyright things that grow in nature.
That, and you shouldn't be able to copyright something that somebody else made. Because the big problem we're seeing with, what's the one for diabetes? Insulin? Mm-hmm. Insulin was created as a sort of, basically, it was not copyrighted. Copyright was around when insulin was made, but it was purposefully not so that it would be available for everyone. Then some fucker swoops in and is like, hey, I'm taking the copyright for this. Which doesn't seem right. You shouldn't be able to do that. You can't make a copyright for... Whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. Nothing's ever gonna change. What does that really mean?
Only when the end of the world happens.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. Think of all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. I know a good half of them are a load of cobblers, if you ask me, put forward by shammers like us. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Thanks.
I just hope one day Ryunosuke just snaps and
just
calls
snaps
everyone out on their bullshit.
I don't know. I mean, like... that kind of is its own problem, and, there's a debate among, I guess just culture in general, about how minorities shouldn't stand up for themselves in those situations because it just leads them to perpetuating this stereotype of... I think specifically the one that gets tossed around the most is angry black woman. If a black woman is, you know, upset about anything, that's a harmful stereotype. It's always been a harmful stereotype because...
But they have every right to be.
Oh,
angry
absolutely, yeah.
Angry
The stereotype came about after the not the civil rights. It came out after emancipation. Basically, they I forget the minutia of it, but basically it was brought about to sow discord among the black community and also paint black women as like
undesirable and
not undesirable, but like hysterical, I suppose.
Oh,
It's like you can kind of the assumption was that you can kind of disregard anything that a black woman says because they're just all angry black women.
Yeah.
That's a stereotype, and it's been perpetuated. It's been in media for a long time, and
it's just also it's the same thing for like all. There is one thing like with women, like with pain, they're all exaggerating.
Yeah,
but the angry black woman, they take it.
Yeah.
Like 3 steps too.
So like the argument is like, should minorities be able to stand up for themselves, or is it just perpetuating this stereotype? And it sucks because that's exactly why they had this stereotype in the first place, because it makes these people not able to stand up for themselves, and it relies on the power of white people to do it for them, and it's not good.
Yeah.
Because I
think it needs to be a combination.
If we're taking this game at like realism value, if Ryunosuke were to snap and call people out, then everybody would disregard him because he's Japanese and they have a lot of stereotypes about the Japanese, especially
but
run
if
rampant
like
in this
someone
day
like
and age.
Herlock finally decided like
if literally anybody else stood up for us.
Actually, I think if anyone would, it would probably be Iris. And unfortunately, she's a child.
Maybe. I think Iris is probably one of them. Maybe Gina in this game after the arc she went through last game, but like I don't think I think Herlock's just slightly too racist. It's not even
Maybe
it's not
Gina.
it's not a bad I mean it's all racism is bad, but it's not like an intentionally racist. He's just kind of stupid and airheaded.
Yeah, I actually could see Gina standing up.
I'm gonna need you to move because you're talking right in my ear. It's kind of
Oh,
loud.
sorry. Yeah, I could actually imagine Gina because, you know, she grew up.
Yeah, Gina at least has the sensibilities to understand when someone's talking down to someone else, and so I feel like she of all people would call people out. Not because necessarily it's racist, but because she doesn't like that. She doesn't like people thinking they're high and mighty. That definitely feels like a Gina thing, but anyway, let's finish the scene so you can get to bed. Can you imagine that? Hey, science, that's what I say. Don't worry, just wait like 100.5 years.
Oh, I don't think so. That sounds like my dream job.
You'd soon think otherwise after spending a day guarding all these shamus bogus contraptions.
But if they're all bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point.
Yeah, well, I dropped my fries again.
Your what?
I'm in chips.
No, he put them in his pocket.
No, that was not. He was definitely not in his pocket. He goes a little higher when it's in his pocket. Sorry?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You should be telling me you're sorry. Anyway, thanks to another of our government's bright ideas, if any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, our government hands out a research grant.
Fucking just pushing forward. World War One. World War One was definitely the most world war you could ever get. Until the next one, of course. The scientists get funding.
Exactly, and that's what they're all after all these shammers coming in from far and wide to clog up Hyde Park. Who has to keep them all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome them?
I'm starting to feel like you're the murderer in this case. Like, you definitely have the most reason to do this at this point.
So you can see why I say it now, can't ya? 'Cause I can't eat my fucking fish and chips, I'm too busy. Hang science.
Oh, maybe I could see your point.
Whoa, that was weird.
Alright.
Alright,
I give you kisses.
I just want to know if this is actually the end of your dialogue. Okay, so we have something more to do on the experimentation stage, but I don't fucking know. I think this is a good stopping place anyway.
I'm gonna go take this to the bedroom and
Yeah, it's fine.
relax a little bit.
Yeah, you go ahead. Thanks for joining us for Side by Side Plays. I'm Shikuquaza.
I am waifu.
Join us next time for more hot air balloon nonsense or magical menageries, firing people from fucking cannons, I guess. Here on Great Ace Attorney 2 on Side by Side Plays.